Hi guys, Brant here, and welcome to another commentary video. Today, I want to talk to you about something not too serious, but a little bit more on the serious side, and it's advice that I need to hear. So before I get into this, and you're like, well, you care about a lot of this stuff. I do, and this is just as much for me as it is for you guys as well. We can all gather around the campfire, see it's over there, and relax together and kind of face this truth together. Is that I think we need to stop worrying so much. I think we get into this position with this game where we get very, very caught up in perk strength, perk balance, map strength, map balance, and we kind of like hyper focus on it. I think that makes sense because a lot of things that are strong in this game are very, very strong, and a lot of things that are weak in this game are very, very weak. So it's kind of like very blaring. It's very, very in our face. So it's like really, really hard for us to ignore. And obviously, I've made kind of a YouTube career out of just like nonstop just talking about all these things, all these little nitpicks, all these little things that get on my nerves from time to time. And you know, I try to talk about positive things, but more often than not, it's easier to talk about something that's upsets you than it is that something that you enjoy a lot. And it's just harder to make the more positive content. So usually we end up just talking about things that are frustrating, things that are upsetting, and we do that a lot. But I feel like at a certain point we need to stop worrying so much. Because we had a video where I talked about, you know, the dark future with hacking and all that stuff with my experience with Black Ops 2 and realizing just how dead that game is. And I've been playing RuneScape again lately, an old school, and that game still has a scene, but like it's nowhere near its heyday that it was before. And I think it just kind of like made me realize something. I think I was just sitting there and it came to me that like there was a lot of stuff I worried about back then too. You know, there was like, oh, well, this skill's taking too long to train when it came to RuneScape. And with Black Ops 2, there was bouncing issues out the wazoo with this gun's stupid, this map's dumb. Like, there was so much that I remember complaining about back then with both of those games where I wish things would change for the better. And I just spent a lot of time being bitter about one thing being too strong, one thing being too weak, one thing taking too long, etc., etc. But those games are dead now. Those games are gone. Like, they do exist in a minimized capacity of their former selves. They live in their own shadow, so to speak, of their former selves. They don't exist in the way they did before, and they will never reach that heyday again. And I was living in it. I was living in the heyday of RuneScape. I was living in the heyday of Black Ops 2. I played those games nonstop. I was living in the heyday, and I was just miserable. I was living in the heyday, and I was just like constantly griping and whining and being annoyed. And I look back on those days with fondness still, but I can't help but think about how much more joy and happiness I could have achieved if I just hadn't spent so much time just getting bitter and worried and worked up over just like the tiniest things. And by no means I'm not saying that like, oh, we're just gonna stop making content criticizing things about the game, because like, things deserve to be criticized, because you know those things need to be looked at, things need to be changed, and if nobody says anything, nothing happens. But I feel like we take it too far a lot, is essentially what I'm trying to say. We take it too far. We take it too far a lot. And I just have that perspective now that like this game is still in its heyday. This game is still top 20 played games on Steam, which is an incredible feat. And it feels like, you know, we've seen the numbers. We've seen the game slipping down that slope. And there's been times where it's fallen out of top 20. Like the game is, it feels like a lot of the time that the game's kind of like gearing down a bit. Like it's starting to like slow down with its prevalence. And I just don't want us to have the train pass us by, you know? We spent so much time being mad about this perk, being mad about that we don't realize we got a lot of good stuff happening. And there's a lot to enjoy about the game, about the community. There's a lot to enjoy. There's a lot there that's fun, that's great, that we can take in and love, and not look back on it going, oh, the game's dead now, I guess that's just it. And we spent the whole time just in this super negative, hateful space with it, you know? Like we spent this whole time just complaining, whining, and feeling sorry for ourselves and getting aggressive at each other over the dumbest stuff. And then the game's just gonna be dead someday. And there will be no more of this. Like I can get mad about this perk or this map or that map or this playstyle or that playstyle, but at least it's happening, right? At least we have this wonderful game that's brought all of us together that I can make a video on every single day, and that I can meet so many great people with and do so much with, you know? I think just I'm not saying never complain about anything ever, or like just because of existential crises you should never worry about anything. I don't think that's my point, because I feel like that's where people are going to go to with this. They're just going to go right down the comments. Oh, so you're saying that I'm not allowed to complain about anything just because you're worried that the game will die? Well, that doesn't make any sense, Mr. Streamer. Thank you for the 9-page paragraph. I've never talked to you before. Thank you for the 9-page paragraph about how terrible I am at doing my job. Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good day. But for the rest of you who aren't incredibly emotional and just snap like a dog at a fence that's trying to get through, I'm trying to say that we should maybe take it from like an 11 out of 10 to like maybe like a 7 out of 10. Maybe just take it down a notch. Take it down a few ranks. That way we can just breathe a little, soak it in, enjoy the things that are good, and still worry about the things that are bad. But not so much that the worrying encapsulates our entire experience and overwhelms our entire experience to the point where we're just bitter and miserable. Worry about the things that are bad, but don't let it consume you to the point where the good times pass you by. That's not even just DBD advice, that is life advice. And I think it's all one that we need to take, especially within the DBD community. But yeah, a little bit more of an emotional one today, friends. Hopefully you did enjoy it. I do upload these videos on the daily basis, so hopefully you can stick around and see my video tomorrow. But if you don't, I will see you when I see you, friends. Goodbye.